everybody, and welcome to this session this morning, which is on a very interesting topic called Destination Tomorrow. My name is Daniela Wagner, and I'm the Global Business Development Director for Jacobs Media, one of the world's largest B2B travel and media and events organizations. And we also have an office in London and an office in Dubai. What we're going to be doing this morning is sharing some of the experiences and projects that are being led here in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. We've all been talking for a long time about the need to get to 100 million visitors, an amazing target, which was part of the 2030 vision, which has already been surpassed. That target has now increased by another 50%, which is very exciting. And I'm sure that you will definitely achieve that. 5 years ago, nobody knew about Saudi as a destination from the outside world. Now, most people know about Riyadh, about Jeddah, about some of the tier one destinations and have been to visit. And what I think is very exciting about this session that's coming up now is that we're going to be looking at the development of new projects, mainly in tier two destinations, but projects which very much resonate with the needs of the modern traveler, looking at the connection between culture and the modern traveler, between nature and how to engage with nature, and things that we're really interested in learning about, and that especially the millennial travelers, who are going to make up over 60% of the traveling population in the next few years, are really looking for in their experiences. So we're going to start with 3 presentations, and those 3 presentations will be made one after another, and then we're going to join together to have a panel session. So we're in fact going to start with Mr. Faisal Bassam, who is the General Manager of the Baheej Tourism Development Group, and I will invite him to the stage. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Thank you so much, Daniela, for your introduction. And thanks to everyone who participating in this session. My name is Faisal Al-Bassam, DMC General Manager at Baheej. And Baheej is a portfolio company of Asfar. Asfar is a PIF-owned company and partnership with private sector, own enterprises, and Tamimi Group. So today I'm talking about something really interesting and a bit unique to the potential investment and sponsors. Before I go and start with the presentation that will deep down to the sponsor opportunity. So we all look for hidden gems, and we look for like hidden coffee shop or a new spot. Today I'm presenting a hidden gem destination, which is Yanbu. So Yanbu has a really unique combination of many things, and we call it at Baheej the city of 3 souls: Yanbu al-Bahar, Yanbu al-Nakhal, and Yanbu Industrial. And each one has a special characteristic to it that bring a really great destination. And as you can see, we have, the beautiful coral reefs of the Red Sea and the heritage of Yanbu. And also we have the vibrant city of the industrial area. And of course, Yanbu al-Nakhal has I think in my mom's opinion, has the best henna. And many can agree on this. And this is basically, before we deep down to the core of the presentation, I would like to give you the vision of what we're trying to seek here. The vision of the landmark that we are building, it is to elevate the tourism ecosystem in Yanbu and to allure for both Saudis and global nationalists around the world. That we want to reach out to all of the explorers and mind-like people to explore Saudi Arabia through Yanbu. And with Baheej is doing 3 projects in the area. and the fourth one is coming up later this year. One of them is a lifestyle hotel, has 113 keys, and a beach club, and the visitor center. And today I'm specifically talking about the visitor center and the diving club as well, which is this one over here. And the visitor center it is important in any destination because it is the focal point for any tourism activities. And it is needed to basically guide for anyone who is new to the area, whether it's Saudi or even an international tourist. And it will be an immersive and interactive facility to basically take you through the experience of the city, whether you're looking for a new experience or you want just to have a meeting there. And of course, the visitor center will have offerings of a retail and F&B. And it will be a designed to fit the local ambience. And it will be around the formation of the coral reefs of the Red Sea and also the city culture as well, like the Hijazi style. And it will, of course, have an exhibition spaces to embed the company's brand image and associate them business to green and good initiatives in the area. And of course, like any other organization that need to have corporate events, product launches, or simply a meeting with a colleague. And more importantly, that we are actually focusing on the green initiatives, where we emphasize and we host an events that basically emphasize a lot on the green initiatives for the locals, and we engage them in that as well. So it's not only just being theoretical, but we actually engage the local into that as well. And finally, we have the diving club. And the diving club is actually, we already investing and we have already planned to build it. And the diving club is a world-class diving club with the PADI standard that will be the spot and the club for all of the divers, enthusiastic and the professionals as well. And so the diving club is something that's built alone at the moment, and we're reaching a sponsorship to complete it with the visitor center. And this is what we're seeking here. The visitor center, it has to be from the community to the community, as it is an important and integral part of any city. And in order to do that, we have formed a package of investments, or let's say sponsorship categories. It can be as the categories usually presented in any sponsorship plans, like the silver and the gold and the platinum. And of course, the benefits for sponsoring the permanent landmark in Yanbu, it will have a great impact on any organization, like the return on image, the increased investment and visitations, and the positive association. And of course, the offers like the services, which is the My Services, as we talked, the meetings, incentives, and corporate and events. And this is it. So hopefully you get to be part of this great opportunity. And I believe it is a unique opportunity that you can invest or sponsor a permanent landmark. Thank you. Can breathe. Yeah. Oh, sure.
Thank you, mate. Thank you for that very fascinating conversation. I'll look forward to picking up some of the details in a little while. Now I'd like to invite onto the stage Mr. Falih Motasim Hajaj, the Chief Executive Officer of Tashyid Urban Development Project, to present his views. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having us.
I'm not going to take a lot of your time. I'm just going to let you know what we're doing, where we're going, and a little bit of insights on pretty much the middle tier cities, middle tier hotels that we're working on. First of all, I'm going to start off with who is Tashyid. Tashyid Urban Development is a urban development company that focuses on enriching culture wherever we go. We've been established 30 years ago. Over the past 30 years, we've managed to do about 60 projects, ranging from hospitality, residential, medical, education, infrastructure, agriculture, and pretty much across the board. This is what I'm going to be talking about a little bit more today. Tashyid Hotels. Tashyid Hotels started about a year ago. And what we've done was we've signed a master development agreement with Holiday Inn Express to develop 12 hotels around the kingdom with an average of 200 keys across 12 cities. And total idea here is to target secondary cities to begin with, starting with Abha, Baha, Qasim, Al-Hassa, Tabuk, Hail, and a bunch of others as we go along. Where we are today is we have 2 hotels in the pipeline, one in Abha, one in Jeddah, following Riyadh and Qasim, inshallah. Quick stats about why we're going to secondary cities today. And I'm going to be focusing on Abha a little bit more than any other city because this is where we managed to pretty much dive deep into the city, into the culture, and to understand a little bit more about where they are. I'm not going to bore you with a lot of the stats that are here, but I'm going to tell you our experience there and where we managed to get that to that niche that we're in today. Abha is a city that everybody knows in the kingdom, and if you don't know, it's located in the south of Saudi and Asir region. Throughout the year, it has wonderful weather. It doesn't really get that hot as the rest of the kingdom. In the summer, it's an amazing place to visit. In the winter, it's also a wonderful place. The target keys that they're targeting today is about 26,000. Our project over there is adding a little bit of that, which is about 160 keys. We're located right in front of the airport at one of the main intersections that takes you from Abha all the way to Khamis Meshet and connects the 2 cities together. And what we've seen over there over the past few months working there is how hospitable the people are, how hospitable the government entities are to help us get to where we want to do. And the investment structure over there is we're leasing the land from the municipality over a period of 25 years. And we're working with the Tourism Development Fund as well to be funded, and the rest is coming from us as equity. And we're hoping that by Q4 we start construction on that, and that should take about 18 months to complete. One of the things that we really focus on is cultural adaptation in every city that we go to. So either focusing on architecture, focusing on the actual human development programs that are there with each independent city. In Abha, for instance, my apologies, I keep focusing on that. In Abha, for instance, we're going to be developing the hotel. It is a Holiday Inn Express, but from the outside, the facade of the building will look a little bit more like the Asiri region cultural theme. And if we go to Jeddah, you'll find out that it looks a little bit more like Jeddah with the rawashin and the color schemes and so on. What we focus as well is try to be as sustainable as we can, either by improving operational standards. I'm not going to say we're going to be a zero carbon hotel or a 100% green hotel, but we do focus on all of that. And what I'm trying to explain to everybody here, and our key message today is limited service 3-star hotels are not your average small hotel that we've seen across the kingdom. It's not the bad experiences that you get. A limited service 3-star hotel is an actual hotel with all the services required with an international standard. And this is why we partnered with IAG with Holiday Inn Express. And if you have any other questions, we're around for the rest of the day. Please find us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that very interesting presentation. Now, we have a slight technical glitch, which is that our third presenter is actually still in another session. So we're going to start a conversation between the two of us, or the three of us, and he will join us in a short time, I hope, and will then be able to make his presentation. So you're both working on really interesting concepts that have been going on for some time, and which are in the process of launching. It's always an interesting position to be in because you're talking about something that's going to happen in the future, but which is already very much a reality in your minds. And one of the questions I have is actually about, you're obviously here at this investment conference to look for sponsorship and funding of your projects. What about the other side, about the promotion, the actual international promotion or even domestic promotion of what you're doing? There's sort of three phases to promotion, aren't there? There's thinking about it, there's introducing the concept, so generating the demand, and then once it's actually happening, then actually promote driving footfall into your destination or your project. So let's start with you, Faisal. I mean, you've got quite a complex project which has the visitor center at the heart of it, but which has lots of other areas around it. What is your company doing to start to position that?
Thank you. This is actually a great question. And, as any corporate that needs a promotion and marketing.
So I'm not sure the microphone's working for the speakers, please.
Maybe I made it far away. So is it good now?
Yeah, he's here.
Okay,
All right.
fine.
So as any other corporate company that needs a promotion, okay, here we.
No, please go ahead with your question, and then I will invite our third speaker up onto the stage when you've finished your answer.
All right.
He needs to get.
Go ahead.
So I was just saying, it is a more of a zoomed out approach actually to promote the destination. It is not just a digital marketing and that's it. It is more of actually an awareness of the locals, and our focus would be the domestic footprint first, and then gradually it goes up to the globally enhanced with the Ministry of Tourism.
So you're very much depending on the sort of the Ministry of Tourism and the work that's being done by the Saudi Tourism Authority in positioning the kingdom, and your project will be part of that.
Of course, not a fully dependent because we have to strategize also internally at the company to do that. But domestically, we have to approach the awareness a lot before we go and reach out to the global market. This is the first focus at the moment in any destination we're developing.
And what do you think the timeline is going to be on the actual opening of the center?
So we are planning right now by end of 2025 to have the full diving center to be open.
Perfect. Okay, so we've now been joined by our third panelist. So if I can just onto the stage.
This is,
hi, welcome.
تحتاج الكليكر عمالك.
If I could just ask you to actually make your presentation now and then join us for the panel discussion. Sorry, we started without you.
First of all, thank you very much and thanks for the waiting. I was held by another panel discussion. So let me start by giving a bit more information about Dan. Dan is a wholly owned company by the PIF. And please feel free at any point in time to stop me if you'd like to get more information about the company. Also, I have my colleague here, the Chief Commercial Officer. I have my colleague, the PR and Communication Director as well. And I have my colleague in the Asset Management Director if you'd like to get more information. So we are aspiring to set a new standards when it comes to the class hospitality. We are focusing on the agri-hospitality business. If you just allow me just in a minute to go with the video. I don't know if the video will start.
أنت هنا، أنت في مملكتنا، في أرض تنبض بالجمال ومناظر خلابة لا يأتي بها الخيال، بين الوديان فوق التلال وعلى قمم الجبال، في المزارع وبين خيرات الجنان. أنت هنا، أنت معنا، نروي لك حكايا أرضنا ونأخذك في مغامرات بين أرضها وسمائها. في دان نسعى لموسم تجارب عبر بناء أرقى المنتجعات وابتكار أحدث العلامات التجارية في مجال المنتجعات الزراعية والمنتجعات الترفيهية والمنتجعات البيئية، ونمكن أصحاب المزارع من تشغيل النزل الريفية في قليب الطبيعة الساحرة. مع دان ندنوك من خيرات أرضنا، نصل معا لأعالي جبالها ونستكشف وديانها، معا بطبيعتنا نكون.
So at Dan, we are trying we are digitally connected and socially disconnected. We just win the summit. Is higher my voice in that.
The summit stage being 10 minutes.
So people today are digitally connected, but unfortunately socially disconnected. So we're just trying to take people back to the basics. So Dan is a wholly owned company by the PIF. We have been officially announced late last year. Our focus is to embrace and contribute to the development of the kingdom's captivating nature by doing our part in terms of being the pioneer and homegrown brand in the agro-hospitality. Our mission and vision comes, our vision comes at a very high level where we contribute to the bigger picture of the country, where the country is aspiring to go to. However, our mission, we are just keeping in mind that this is experiential market, experiential business, where people have to have the experience. So we are trying to play the both at the very high level in terms of where we contribute to the government, the ambitions of the 2030 and hopefully 2040 and after. The values that we live by, we have 5 main values that we live by. Is rooted in nature. Second is inclusive. The third one is culturally authentic, high standards, and responsible. It's very important to our offerings. We made sure in our offering it's all around the nature. It's all around built in nature, back to nature, and it's inclusive. Our clientele base, we are not skewed towards any clientele segment. We are focusing on the entire critical mass. However, we do have different price points and different products that could serve multiple needs. But however, the main clientele base is the critical mass. And responsible, whatever we do, we're trying to be responsible, environmentally friendly, and of course with high standards, because at a point in time, we believe we are the only company that does all of this in terms of the business model. And we'll come to it in a second about our offering. Our offering comes with twofold. Our mission comes with twofold in terms of the owned assets and the franchise asset. I don't think there is any other company on the planet does all of this under one umbrella. So when it comes to the owned assets, we are developing themed resorts, agriculture resort, adventure resort, and eco resort, and multiple areas within the country in which we have created our own brand, and that will be ready to be launched around the Q4 of this year. The second part of it, where we become an enabler, another brand has been created, and that will be launched very soon in Q3, in which we become an enabler to the family-owned farms, the lodge facility owners, and the istiraha owners, for those who knows the istiraha concept in Saudi, in which we are becoming an enabler. We're helping them by giving them a lot of services. That's just only a brand. We go into a franchise model, but we do provide a lot of service. So today, our flagship project is in Al-Ahsa, and that will start the construction very soon, although we have been officially announced late 2023, but our project will start the construction very soon. And hopefully by around this time of this year, we'll be able to host you in one of our franchise assets with one of our partners. We are building around 3 pillars: eco, adventure, and agriculture. And if you just look at the pictures, that gives you, it's very much about connected to nature. We're not doing any much of indoor. We're just trying to be able to connect, to touch the sand, to touch the flowers, to touch the branches. Just live that away from a bit from the technology. A franchise asset, we do provide a lot when it comes to the value chain. That goes from providing the brand name, going with the financing through our partners in the public and the private sector. Training, we need to give a training to be able to help the farmers to manage their own farms. And also a design, we go all the way from the design stage until the execution and even post-operation with the revenue management support, with the channel management support, how we help them to capitalize more into their assets. And all of this is just getting done for free. We just take revenue sharing. If they are successful, we are successful. There is no upfront fees or something or technical agreements or something. It's all for free. Once they sign up with us, they are privileged to all these activities. If they are successful, then they pay us. If they aren't successful, then we pass a lot of learning to them. A lot of when it comes to the our role and their role, we do provide a lot of roles. We are trying to help them to give them all the legs and feet that they require to be able to operate. So we are helping them, and we go with them through the franchise model. But the roles on that comes a lot. And I have here my colleague Mohammed, who is the Chief Franchise Assets Officer, who has been from this industry, and he knows the amount of work that he has to do to be able to make sure that those farmers are able to operate. This is just a sneak peek of how the franchise asset would look like. And this will be customized based on every region. If you are doing business in Al-Aqsa and that's the flagship, you should expect to see Al-Aqsa culturally and the authenticity of Al-Aqsa. If you go to anywhere else, Abha, Medina, Taif, you should expect to see the authenticity and the cultural, architectural heritage of that city reflected in whatever that you could see. Our flagship project is Al-Aqsa, which will go for the construction very soon. That listed on 1.8 million square meter, and that would have around 200 keys between standard rooms, villas that could go up to 3-bedroom villas. And we just signed a couple of months ago a soft collection with Hilton. And this is just another sneak peek of the concept design. Of course, we are advanced, very much advanced, but this is a sneak peek about how the concept of the agri resort would look like. And this is the eco resort would look like, and also the adventure resort. There is a lot in the project in terms of central activation, how we could connect the inner world with the outside world, a community center, etc. So that's in a nutshell about the. We are having actually a big multi-purpose convention center because we believe Al-Aqsa requires. We are flexible as well to the city itself. If the city requires certain activities or certain real estate development, we are very much sensitive to this one and sensible. So we are trying to customize to the city. There is no one size fits all. There is always that 80% that is common, but however, there is a 20% that has to be reflected based on the nature of the city itself. That's it from my side. Please, if you have any question, I'm happy to answer. And also I have my colleagues here. Please feel free. Thank you.
Thank you very much. If you would just come and join us for the panel. So before you joined us, we were just talking about promotion. You're all working on projects that are still in early stages of development, but coming along very quickly. And we were just talking about, the fact that there's sort of various stages of promotion. There's the conceptual generating demand, then there's domestic promotion, and then international promotion. So Mr. Faisal was just explaining what he's doing in his company. How does that look for you in your, how are you starting to do the actual promotional plans for your business?
It has to be done based on a phase strategy. I don't know what was the discussion, but see, first of all, we need to understand who's our clientele base. At Dan, probably I would say 80-90% of our clientele base will be the domestic market. That does not mean we ignore the international market, but we need to give more focus on the domestic market. So by engaging, with having that facing strategy is clear, with the engagement with the community, with engagement with the local authorities, that would help us to make sure that we are at the right forum, we design the right packages for the people, and most importantly, we give them the right awareness that they require. If you compare between 2019, before the pandemic, and 2023, the spend on experiential grew by 65%, and that's worldwide, that is Saudi. And also the spend on the food cultural food grow by 10%. That tells you that people, they are not more about the mattress itself. It has to be comfortable, but it's not about how luxury the mattress itself. It's about the experience. It's not about the salad that you have taken. It's about the experience, the environment that you have taken it, whether they participate in making that salad or not. That is the experiential that people. And again, I just mentioned this in the other panel. We are not designing for our age brackets. We are designing for like 5 years old people. You know, we are designing for them. We have to make sure that we are keeping their mindset, we are keeping their expectations in mind. Otherwise, we'll be designing something that would be obsolete in 2 years' time. Hopefully, in a few years' time, they will be able, once more our projects get more materialized, then we can go for the international market, just to make sure that the international markets by 2034 and by the X1, the World Cup, we expect a lot of influx from the international market. By that time, we'll be very much ready to host them.
That's a fantastic answer. Thank you, sir. Same question to you. You've decided on mid-market hotels in secondary cities, which is a very good decision, and you explained a little bit about that in your presentation. How do you see the promotion of your product going? Are you going to focus initially on the domestic market, or what are your plans?
It's a great question, and this is something that we talk about quite often, especially since we partnered up with IAG and Holiday Inn Express on that. So we're phasing it out on different phases. The current phase that we're in, we're promoting it internally, nationally, with certain government stakeholders that we're working with, because we believe that from now until 2030 and moving forward, every city, as an example like Al-Ahsa, if our time to market is between 8 to 18 months only. So we can be there to help out other companies be accommodated there before the rest, while Dan is being developed, while the project in Yanbu is being developed. So we're promoting that as a first phase. The second step is once hotels are being operated completely, we're going to work hand in hand with IAG itself to make sure that most of the promotion is culturally appropriate to each asset on its own. Promoting Abha is completely different than promoting Jeddah, different than promoting Riyadh, for instance. And we're going to try as much as we can to segment that promotion. And finally, once the hotels are actually operating and projects like Dan's project in Al-Hassa and Baheej project in Yanbu is fully operational, we're there as a whole ecosystem together to be a part of the overall experience of every segment for every traveler.
No, that's fantastic. And I think actually the group that you've chosen to work with is very experienced in doing that. They've done it in China, they've done it in India, they've done it in a lot of emerging markets. So I think that's an excellent decision. So you've all talked about, looking at the future and looking about what travelers are going to be expecting. And as you said, sir, a comfortable mattress is very important, but it's a basic requirement now. And we all know that, especially since COVID, people have things that they absolutely need to do in their lives. Travelers' expectations have evolved enormously. The definition of luxury has changed completely. Luxury is no longer about thread count and silver cutlery, but it's about true experiential experiences which bring, which connect you with nature, which connect you with your families, which allow you to grow as an individual. And that's really probably the number one aim that every traveler now has, is to reconnect with themselves. And if you look at the way that authenticity and experiential content has developed in travel, how has each of you addressed that? For example, at the Yanbu Visitor Center, how have you looked to the future and the demographic of the new traveler and brought that into your planning for the Yanbu Visitor Center?
And this is a great question. Truly, it is it's a vision of Saudi Arabia to always incorporate sustainability and being authentic. Because visitors, this is what they're looking for, is the actual culture and experience. At Baheej, it is actually one of the core values to be authentic and sustainable. It's, the two main elements of our project. But specifically for the visitor center, that is by nature, it is the center for the city. So it will be, designed by and inspired by the city to be reflecting the culture and the heritage. And for the sustainability, it is as a main initiatives that we are doing, like, the marine life conservations and the paddy aware programs as well. And the other simple things like cleaning up the beaches and stuff like this, it is actually our core programs at the Dive Center.
On that, is it a core program of your project, or is it something that you will actually allow visitors to participate in? Because I think that's also what visitors are looking at, is how they can, create their own carbon footprint by helping and giving back to the local communities that they're visiting.
It's actually both. So we are doing that as well. We have programs, but just to raise awareness, we do initiatives like volunteer initiatives for the city, for the locals, and nearby cities as well.
Fantastic. And same question to you, sir. You have hotels, but you're also working in local communities. So how are you trying to create something which is authentic for your visitor?
What we've done with our hotel designs, we're building a 3-star hotel, so it was very difficult to get creative with that. The room standards come from IAG, and we've managed to work with them to incorporate as much as we can. But what we have managed to do, and hopefully this is what we were going to be able to do in the future, is have each city have its own design code that is related to the actual culture. And I tapped on it a little bit when I was talking during my presentation. In Asir and Abha, our lobby and our common area will look exactly like any other authentic place in that region, using material from that region, trying as much as possible to hire people from that region that give that authenticity feel to it, and try as much as we can that are supporting retail, supporting F&B services that are around our projects are local as well. So it's either local brands or an authentic experience. It's going to be a little bit difficult to implement it everywhere, but as much as we can, we're going to implement that the lobbies, common areas are going to be authentic to the actual designs.
Yes, and as you say, even in a standardized hotel lobby, there are lots of touch points that you can introduce, which actually just inspire the traveler.
Just as a quick example, other than design, is certain fruits are available in certain regions, and that could be the welcome drink, or that's what's available at the stands, or certain products. For instance, Medina are known for their mint. Certain places are known for certain fruits, and you'll have that ready to be sold at each lobby.
Fantastic. And you sort of started your project with actually the land and the landowners. So that gave you a lot of freedom to then develop the the 3 concepts you were mentioning: agritourism, adventure, and ecotourism. How did you visualize both what people are looking for today, and then kind of identifying your demographic groups for the future for each of those 3 segments?
Well, to start with, all these local communities, they have their own long-held traditions and practices. At a point in time, this becomes like an ethos. You cannot change them. So we need to understand that we need to embrace it, and we need to build around it. And the best way to get this, and this is honestly what we do, is to live how people live there. So to understand the local context of that local community, and then to get the aspirations from, I'm wearing the hat of a real estate developer. So I'm getting the aspirations from the local community, engage with the subject matter experts from the local communities to understand the arts and crafts, to understand the food, to understand architectural heritage, etc. And then all of this have to be built in bottom-up approach in terms of the design. The development approach towards the project have to be done that way. So we have, and this is why we went with a soft collection with Hilton, because we want to have our own thumb, we want to have our own print, and to come as the national champion of agri-hospitality. So we need to create our own standards, but we need the international experience to help us to do so. So I think, in my opinion, my humble opinion, with going with that approach, the end product would be something the community would like. At the end of the day, If the community does not like whatever you did, good luck. You're doomed in this. So we need to make sure that it comes from the community, so the community loves it. Otherwise, you could build something amazing, but nobody wants it. And that's not the situation of any investor that would like to have.
And are you working with tour operators and travel agents to develop those concepts, or is the whole programming around what you're offering done by Dan Company?
For the time being, because we are still before the operation, we are very much working in terms of making sure our design fits, it's authentic, it understands the local culture, the local context, etc., while keeping in mind the international visitors. Travelers are picky. We are all picky. Whenever we want to sit in a place, we'd like to make sure that we are getting 100%, 150% return actually on the money that we paid. So keeping that in mind, that goes in terms of the design. Once we go in terms of the operation, and then we certainly need to engage with the DMCs and with the hotel, with the international operators to make sure that we are able to customize for the international market.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. So we only have a few more minutes now before we finish this session. One of the advantages you've had in this country is that the tourism development side is still quite new, and it's given you an opportunity to really look around the world and pick the best of breed from everything. I work with some destinations in Europe which are completely challenged by their infrastructure, which basically doesn't lend itself to sustainable development. And so they have legacy infrastructure, which is complicated and difficult. And to change that is actually very hard once it's there. The opportunity you have here is you're working with a fantastic country, which is incredibly diverse in what it has to offer. You understand that sustainability is the core of what all of us need to do. So I see that as a huge advantage. How have you been able to maximize the learnings that you've seen from other parts of the world? Do you want to start? I mean, you've got the IAG example, but I'm sure that you've also thought about it from your own perspective.
When we originally started this idea, we actually did a whole tour around different cities in Saudi first, but then through the past personal experiences of our team, individually, from our founder to myself to different family members as well, we've noticed what we've seen around the world and what has worked and what hasn't. And we've decided to take an approach that we don't want to reinvent the wheel that worked everywhere else. That gap was very apparent for us here. So we came into this market knowing where we wanted to go. And to be, like you said, we're in a wonderful country, and the development programs that are here definitely are helping us out. We're working with the Ministry of Tourism to identify which clusters to be in and where and when to approach each destination or each city, in addition to working with the Tourism Development Fund and different stakeholders as we go along. And I'm going to go back to a different example, or the same example, which is in Abha. We work with the Asir Development Authority over there, and they pretty much opened up the doors for us. Come and see what you need, and we're there to support. And that's what they've actually done. And when you said infrastructure was there or not there, it's enough for us to start our projects, because what we need, we don't need that much to begin our first, and this is where everything came together.
So you have all the right tools in place to make a success of it.
I hope so.
Fantastic. What about Yanbu Visitor Center?
So as Falih said, it is important to go with the global standards for the visitors, whether you're doing it for the domestic market or for the global tourist. And most importantly is you don't have just concrete. You have to have an experience. You have to have like what Dan is doing. It's an amazing vision and the initiatives. And this is the main element, is that you have to build the infrastructure, and you have to do something for people to do. And I am, as the DMC manager, that I have to create fun things around these buildings. And basically this is what is needed at the moment. And with the support of the Ministry of Tourism, they are, on hands with us, guiding to that process.
Actually, I was listening to a presentation yesterday from the Ministry of Tourism in which they basically said that, the kingdom has everything to offer to all different segments of people and is therefore really, in a very good position.
I would like to add just one thing as well. Sorry.
Of course.
As the people of Saudi Arabia overall across all 13 regions, everywhere we visited, they were welcoming, and that made it easier for us to go in and to work and to look for different opportunities there with the locals, with the local population, with the local developers and local landowners. So that's a big added advantage that we have.
No, I think that's a huge advantage, and actually, as an outsider to this kingdom, I'm incredibly impressed. And I think it's the first time in my 40-year career that I have seen a country embrace a long-term vision in such a comprehensive way, across all industries, across all sectors, and actually obtain the buy-in of your nationals. And I think that's amazing and something to be massively congratulated. Just that question to you as well, about basically how you've looked around the world and the examples that there are, and how they have inspired you to create your DAN project and the 3 projects within it, in a way that you could really benefit from the lessons that you've learned.
First of all, to start with, you need to understand who is your clientele base. So although, for example, at Al-Ahsa, we have 3 resorts, adventure, eco, and agri. But within this ecosystem, it has a different clientele base. When it comes to the agri, we expect to have more families, but when in the adventure, probably you could have younger children or couples and friends. So by understanding your clientele base, and that is where you need to start with what kind of product and service that you need to provide, and you need to design to them. So that is what should come in mind, and make sure that it's flexible. The market is changing so dynamic. It's so fast. It's so dynamic. People, they travel a lot and they see a lot of things outside. And also, we'll be having influx from outside market where they have different expectations. You need to make sure that your product is flexible. However, it tackles the main clientele base. But if you don't understand the main clientele base, again, that would go to the square zero of designing something nobody would like. And then certainly when it comes to the economic viability, it wouldn't work anymore.
Great. Okay. Well, I think we've reached the end of our time. Does anyone in the audience have any pressing questions? Nope. Okay, that's fantastic. I think our speakers are going to be around all day and we'll be happy to share further details with you. Gentlemen, I wish you every success and look forward to being invited to visit your projects once they're open. Please give a big round of applause to our wonderful panel today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.